Details tonight about what led to a state trooper's arrest for excessive force. The son of the former chief of staff charged Thursday after an investigation showed he did a little too much at a traffic stop a year and a half ago. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, spoke to the attorneys and has the video they say shows that encounter.
Sylvia, an arrest warrant says Trooper Jacob Brown hit Aaron Bowman 18 times last May, then miscategorized his body camera video, which caused supervisors not to review his footage. Tonight, he's facing 2 felony charges. It's grainy, low-quality video, but in it you can see a swarm of law enforcement officers surrounding a car. This is how Aaron Bowman was left following that encounter. Hospitalized, beaten, and bloodied.
17 months they sat on this, Chris. 17 months.
A team of attorneys now working on his case to get justice from Baton Rouge to Monroe.
He had nothing on him, was beaten terribly, dragged out of the vehicle, beaten. He suffered from, I think he had 10 stitches in his head, fractured bones, excuse me, broken ribs, fractured arm. He was taken to the hospital where he was left. He was never arrested.
The WBRZ investigative unit reported back in October that Jacob Brown, son of Chief of Staff Bob Brown, was placed on leave for an excessive force incident. Bowman's attorneys say Brown dragged him by his hair. Tonight they believe the free pass that Brown got for nearly 18 months was no accident.
It's absolutely not a coincidence. This was a cover-up. The Chief of Staff used his power to protect his son until he couldn't protect him anymore. It's obvious. They will probably say something different, I'm sure. They would never officially say that, but we have common sense.
It's the second such incident during the same month at the same troop, Troop F, that year. That's where Ronald Green was killed by Chris Hollinsworth. But state police claimed Green died from injuries in a car crash. Hollinsworth was served intent to terminate papers and died that same night in what many have suspected was a suicide. With Jacob Brown still employed, Bowman's attorneys say enough is enough.
We're going to hold their feet to the fire. We're going to ask for his termination happen immediately. There's no room for this on any police force whatsoever, but what would be classified as one of the highest police forces in our state, there's absolutely no room for this. And so,
attorneys are demanding that law enforcement release the body camera footage from that night. Jacob Brown was charged with aggravated battery and malfeasance in office. He's currently on administrative leave. Now to a story from the investigative unit. Training documents show a trooper arrested for 3 excessive force incidents should have been fired from the academy. Instead, he was assigned to the streets and now faces multiple felonies. This is the face of someone pinpointed almost 6 years ago as lacking the character traits that represent state police core values, according to training documents obtained by the investigative unit.
Those training academy documents were prophetic. They prophesized what was going to happen. They predicted the future. So the whole idea of the training academy is to determine if somebody has the moral makeup to be a trooper.
Raphael Goyeneche is a corruption watchdog.
It's no surprise.
The documents show in 2015, Jacob Brown lied twice when questioned about tobacco contraband he brought to the academy and hid in the ceiling tiles of his room. His second lie came moments after he was told to be truthful and honest. And sergeants over the training academy said he should be considered for termination.
Because he wasn't terminated, essentially a cancer was released into the state police. And we saw the manifestations of his integrity issues not once, not twice, but 3 times.
But Brown had an advantage others did not. His dad was a high-ranking member of state police. These training documents state that Brown's character flaws were a good indication of the type of trooper he would ultimately become. Somehow, some way, he managed to graduate the academy and now finds himself facing multiple charges for excessive force. This is one of at least 3 excessive force incidents that led to charges for Trooper Jacob Brown. It's grainy, low-quality video, but in it you can see a swarm of law enforcement officers surrounding a car. This is how Aaron Bowman was left following that encounter, hospitalized, beaten, and bloodied. His attorneys told us 2 months ago the case reeks.
It's absolutely not a coincidence. This was a cover-up. The chief of staff used his power to protect his son until he couldn't protect him anymore. It's obvious. They will probably say something different, I'm sure. They would never officially say that, but we have common sense.
The training documents pegging Brown as a problem go on to say Brown is willing to cut corners and express himself in a disrespectful and deceptive manner. These are traits of a toxic employee that should not be allowed to continue with his training.
The troopers that go through the academy are now dispersed throughout the entire state of Louisiana. And if you turn a blind eye to misconduct by troopers, essentially those problems now are, spread out over the four corners of the state of Louisiana.
Brown was among 4 troopers arrested yesterday in Monroe tied to the excessive force incidents over the past 2 years.